Ezra Koenig, he's a thought, alright? He's a freaking nasty hoe, alright? He looks good, alright? I love Ezra to bust my pussy open and tell me about how he only comes once every 5 years. If a guy shows up with a fucking fancy winter coat and some stylish pajama bottoms, he can hit my back walls any fucking time of the day, dude. If a guy's like, I only put out an album once every 5 years, spend my free time cashing Apple Music checks, and date barely little girls, I'm like, take a fucking Oxford comma to my pussy like it's Cape Cod, dude.
Love this one.
Welcome to the Indie Heads podcast, everybody. I'm your host with the most, Maddie at Minorbian Prince on Twitter. And we got good old podcast for y'all because we got some guests, not really guests, more of regular ass cast members. First of which is
what up, Jackson at horse_jeans on Twitter. You know what it is. You know what it be.
Hey, it's Pat at KidCombo _ on Twitter.
Hey, this is Zach at LawfulWoman3 on Twitter. This is not a visual medium, but my jaw is hanging open after that intro.
Well,
that intro was classic.
Hey, if a bit's good, it may be on another podcast, but if a bit is good, you got to do the bit. It doesn't matter if it's on a different medium. But anyways,
do the joke until it dies.
I support any cold open that includes the usage of the phrase "bussy" for sure. That's a good way to start. That's a good tone setter for the episode.
I mean, hey, Andrew Katz, he told us, hey, step up your game on the intros, and I felt like, hey, I'll step up my game. I'll get us right off the gate. No haziness, like boom. But before we continue,
all right,
we're gonna welcome Pat, aka Pat Boy Kid Combo. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
Woo!
First one.
We have another a new the Canadians. They're slowly taking over the Indie Heads podcast. All right, we've got 3 whole Canadians that are a part of our cast. Well, really like 2, and then like 1 kind of. Again, rest in peace, Lizzie. She's alive and well, but she don't know how Skype real good. So sorry to call you out, Lizzie.
Happy birthday, though.
Oh yeah, hey, you know what? You know what also happened? This is the first Indie Heads podcast where I am an adult that can drink legal beer. 21, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
Also, it was Lizzie's birthday and like Gavin's birthday before my birthday.
Yeah, it was like a string of birthdays all at once there.
It is crazy. It's been crazy. So I mean, to get a little, I'm gonna get a little cheesy real quick. I started the podcast when I was like, I was like 17 when I started the podcast, I think. I think it was like December 24th.
And we are still children. We are still large children.
Again, I love all the large adult sons on the podcast, including myself. We should rename. We're going to rebrand really soon to the Large Adult Son Podcast because we are all large adult sons. Well, we are a large adult sons, but we also have some large adult daughters and large
adult son is a gender neutral term.
There we go.
Similar to brother of like Hulk Hogan fame, it is a gender neutral term.
So yes, we are all large adult sons on the Indie Heads podcast. But anyways, hey, we've had a crazy couple. We had a crazy last week. We had Andrew Katz from Car Seat Headrest on the podcast. That was crazy. God damn.
That was a great interview.
I thought I had a lot of fun with that. Andrew was great. He was a goddamn shitlord, but he was great.
It was a great interview, and Large Adult Sons is great because our first news item of the day is one of my large adult sons who I shall protect at all costs. You want to get into the news now?
Let's get into
Jackson,
news.
that was an A+ segue.
A+ segue.
That was great.
Our first news item of the week is that Sufjan Stevens is performing at the Oscars, people. It's happening. The Sufjan moment where, as I've described on Twitter, it's just like there's just like a solid couple million people who just do not know who Sufjan Stevens is and are going to be and people who haven't seen Call Me By Your Name and do not know who he is and are going to tune in to watch because they really love Darkest Hour and The Post, and they're going to tune in, and Sufjan's going to be playing Mystery of Love at the Oscars, and it's going to be dope as hell. I'm excited. I hope that he climbs up a ladder and he has all the like tinfoil on him like he does in the Impossible Soul performance. I'm hoping that he's just covered in like streamers and balloons and reflective material. That's my ideal for this Oscars performance.
Yeah, either that or he comes out with like 12 hats on and a t-shirt.
Just so many hats. Apparently, he's wearing a suit that's designed by.
It's
like,
a Gucci. It's a Gucci suit. Sufjan
That's
Stevens,
right.
Sufjan Stevens is wearing Gucci to the Oscars, and he's going with the sole intention to meet Mary J. Blige. All right.
Like, what year is it? I can't believe this.
Sufjan is like when we talk about large adult sons. Sufjan is the large adult son. All right. He is the flag bearer for all large adult sons.
And the Gucci suit does not cross out the possibility of the Gucci suit while wearing a hat and a beanie at the same time. There's been no headwear rumors, so we never know what's gonna happen.
Boom.
This is his Elliott Smith moment. I'm excited for him.
This is true. Although I feel like Elliott Smith cultivated like a different brand than Sufjan Stevens had. Sufjan Stevens cultivates a very unique brand that Elliott Smith did not quite. But yeah, it's the closest like. Yeah, the closest comparison, really.
My guess is that he's gonna do like a stripped back performance where it's just like kind of him and a guitar and like a minimalist kind of thing. More of the kind of sad Sufjan than the gay, colorful Sufjan on as far as the spectrum of Sufjan performances.
Which is depressing because
we turning into a huge thing.
We really need gay Sufjan at the Oscars. We really need gay Balbacious. I watched.
It's like the one Kanye tweeted about we need Young Thug at the Grammys, not just me and Jay in a suit. It's like we need gay Sufjan at the Oscars, not just regular sad Sufjan.
Look, I've been watching a lot of Queer Eye. I watched like all Queer Eye like last week, so I'm in the I need this. But anyways, our next bit of news. And this one actually, I want to briefly mention it because I did want to. I want to backtrack or not backtrack. I want to clarify what I said on an earlier podcast. So, Unknown War Orchestra announced a new album, Sex and Food. It's out April 6th, and I want to say, so on the podcast, when we discussed the latest song from Unknown Moral Orchestra, American Guilt, I said that I was a little iffy on it. However, I've completely turned around. It kicks absolute ass. I love it. Ruben, again, Multi-Love is a fucking amazing album, and this new song's good. It's great even, and this album is going to kick ass, and I gotta get that pink vinyl, because it's pink, alright? It's pink, it works. And also, this is like a great album name, honestly.
Sex and Food, yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's like simple as that.
The pink with the red cover is like a really cool kind of feel into it. Yeah,
that's the single art. The actual album art is like some like it's like kind of teal. It's like a fencer or something like that. I don't know.
I'll check it out while you're talking. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for this, and I just wanted to backtrack a little bit on what I said because American Guilt kicks fucking ass. So
that's wild. This could be really cool.
The video is pretty amazing as well.
I gotta watch
the track list is cool. It's cool because at first I was like, what the hell is this? This is not like this isn't even UMO at all. But then like after getting like used to the first single, it's like, oh cool, they're doing something really like they're just going for something else now. And whatever it is, I'm just like excited to kind of see.
Boom. And we don't really have a lot of news that's worth discussing, but this last one is very important. So Win Butler, Win Butler is a very strange man. We're all aware of this. And here's the thing with Win Butler, they said indie rock was dead, but Win Butler put up a double-double in last night's Celebrity All-Star Game, which is my favorite headline of 2017.
The greatest headline of all time.
The greatest headline of all time.
Every time Win Butler plays at a NBA All-Star Game, just the universe gets a little bit better because it's just like of all the people in the world you'd expect to be a regular player in the All-Star Celebrity Game, you would not expect the frontman of Arcade Fire, but he can hoop. He was
MVP in 2016.
He's tall as hell, and he's got some rebounding and just double machine.
Did you guys see seriously. Like the giant hurl thing?
Oh yeah. Like, he just threw that shit over his head like bridal tossed. It was an assist. Win Butler the God.
So Win Butler is the God. We all love him. But let's get
Yes,
into...
it's always nice.
Hold on. Lest you think that is all Win Butler has been up to, lest you think that he was also recently spotted at a karaoke bar in Canada, and he was singing Arcade Fire. So
Oh, shit.
He went to a karaoke bar and sang his own songs at karaoke, which rules. It's so great.
What a flex! What a power move!
Jesus Christ. Win Butler, the master booler, is, again, he will be at it for many years to come.
I'm very happy that like we're now at the point where like I get annoyed with Win Butler when he's Win Butler guy promoting new album Everything Now, but when he's Win Butler playing in Celebrity All-Star games and singing his own songs at karaoke, this is the good version of Win Butler. He's returned.
This is Butler ever wants.
It's again, you either get chaotic evil Win Butler or chaotic good Win Butler. It just depends on the day.
It's like Father John Misty, but you only get the chaotic evil Father John Misty all the time, and you never get a relief from it.
Which,
hypothetical question: how good is Father John Misty at basketball? Do you think?
I would expect that he's...
I feel like he's better. I would feel like he's better than average, but at the same time, it's like
because I feel like he's got the height as well.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, he's a tall fucking dude. I feel like he'd be good at basketball if he put it. If he put his mind to it.
So is Kelly Olynyk.
I don't imagine him playing a lot of pickup. That doesn't seem.
No, I can't imagine.
He's a pussy. Anyways, hey, single alert. We'll talk about Father John Misty a bit later on in our next segment, which is single alert. Which let's just get into it. We're gonna start off. New Courtney Barnett single. She has a new album coming out on May 18th called Tell Me How You Really Feel. New single, Nameless Faceless. And I'll start off. Hey, Courtney Barnett, is she finally going to be good? Like, is this the album where I'm like, okay, I can fully get behind Courtney Barnett? And I think it is, which is a hot take apparently. But we'll if you guys want to get mad at me, now is the time. Get mad at me for my Courtney Barnett take.
I feel so. I mean, like, so my thoughts on the last album is that I really liked it a lot, but like it took a while for it to like I listened to it and I didn't really connect with it, and then after a while after the year it kind of ended, it started to click with me, and I was like, oh cool, I get this sort of now, and it's working. It's like hitting for me in a particular way, and I think this new single is good, and I think this new album is going to be good. I don't think it's going to be great. I think it's just going to be like a significant. Hopefully, I hope it is really good. I hope it like blows me away and it's like awesome, and like Courtney is just like crowned the queen of garage rock or something like that. But like I'm keeping my expectations for this kind of like medium excited. Like I think it's going to be really cool, and I'm sure there's going to be songs on it that I really love, but I don't know what to expect from what it'll be as a larger project.
Anyone else got thoughts? Because I'm pretty much in agreement on Jackson there.
Some like I feel like I know all the critics loved Sometimes Think from the Outset, but so did I. And while this isn't like pedestrian at best as far as lead singles go, it's still pretty good. Like it's Courtney Barnett doing her thing. I always appreciate that. I like Kim Deal on the background vocals. That's also pretty cool. Nice little history there, and yeah, it's good single, folks. I think the album is going to be pretty good, and it's only 10 tracks, so it should be like a bit more concise than sometimes. So I think this is going to be a really good album.
I think it's going to be really enjoyable, and I like the concise album for her. Like the reason why I actually did like that Kurt Vile and Courtney Barnett album a fair amount was because it's just like it's very pleasant, and then it just ends. It's just like it doesn't like drone on for just endless. It's just like here's what it is. The appeal, it's like pretty simple and like unique, but it doesn't do a whole lot more than that. But it's very good at doing the thing that it does.
But I think that's like kind of Courtney Barnett's whole shtick, is that her songs are sort of just about everyday things. There is no real like sort of direction behind them, but I do think that this single does have direction behind it, and I think that's sort of what I'm excited about for the album too, is that it maybe has a little bit more meaning than her like sort of past projects.
It seems like it's dealing with some of the similar sort of kind of tropes and stuff that she likes to talk about, but it does seem a little more like narrowed in and a little more focused of like here's kind of what I want to say as like a songwriter, as opposed to like last album. It's like, oh, her songwriting, like last album was like, wow, her songwriting voice is like super unique and interesting, but like didn't seem like there was a particular thing that she like really was saying on the last one.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, like what is the meaning here? Like, what are you trying to say? Where it was more like, you know, here are some catchy lyrics and things that are like happening and stuff, but like this definitely has that direction, and that makes me kind of excited for it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Jackson or Zach? I know one of y'all are. I think both of y'all are stans, as far as I know.
I have decided to stan. I kind of feel foolish for not realizing that Janelle Monáe was going to drop the album of the year. It's like one of those things where I had the realization that she was about to do it to us, and it was like, of course I should have seen this coming. Like, like of course I should have. Janelle Monáe is back, folks. She's back about, I think, I want to say 4 years after Electric Lady, 5 years, something like that. When did that album come out? It's been a minute.
I think it was like it was either like 2013 or 2012. So it's been a while.
Yeah. It's been like a minute since we've last seen Janelle Monáe, and she's been doing other stuff. She's acting in movies. She was really great in Moonlight. She was really great in Hidden Figures. She's doing all this different stuff, and now she's announced a new album, and she dropped 2 singles along with a video for each single. So we have 2 new videos, 2 new singles, new album cover, announcement, and the 2 singles are super different. Like, she really took like 2 very different directions that she's going on the album. And so you've got Make Me Feel, which is some absolute Prince goodness going on. It is a very funky, very colorful, very alive with these electric guitars and these bass lines and these very like wild kind of vocal stuff going on in the hooks and things. And it is just really fucking fun and like danceable, and it reminds me my kind of bad take that I was mainly doing just to be a curmudgeon online, but I was like, oh, it's like Mass Seduction by St. Vincent, but actually good. And that's a dumb take, because
it's a good take. It's a good fucking take because it's right. At least make me feel make me feel okay. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Mass Seduction. I want to yell about. Sorry, Jackson. I want to yell about Mass Seduction real quick. All right. I'm the birthday boy. I'm the birthday boy. I get my shits.
No, your birthday was like 4 days ago, dude. Calm down.
Yeah. Okay. It still counts because again, it's whatever. Anyways, Mass Seduction. It was Annie Clark trying to be Prince. It was like, I'm gonna do this Prince shit. But Annie Clark does not really have the swag of Prince. All right. I love Annie Clark, but she don't have that swag. Janelle Monáe, she's got that swag, and so she pulls this off. All right, that's all I gotta say. Continue to stand.
She does like sound
Go off, King.
Incredible over this production. And speaking of swag, the other single, which is really the like curveball here. So that one is like a really exciting new single, and then the other one, Django Jane, is a rap song. It is a rap song with a hard ass beat. And for someone who like does not usually rap in her music at all, it is unfair how good at it she is. She's already like, and there's a line in the song where she talks about Emmys, Grammys, Tonys, and Oscars, because she's like one of the big entertainers out there that people think could potentially win an EGOT, because she's an actor and she's a singer and a performer of all kinds. And so like, but it's like you're already good at so many things, and you're already like one of the most talented people in entertainment, and to have the audacity to also be this good at rapping and to just like have the like charisma and the swagger, and the music video is great. She's like wearing this like military almost pantsuit. It kind of reminds me of another connection to Annie Clark. Kind of reminds me of like that dictator outfit that she wore one time. It's a similar kind of like authoritarian, like badass woman look that she's got going on, and there's bars. It's quotable. The album cover is fucking amazing. I'm all the way aboard the hype train. I think this could be the album where she just like goes and does it, and she has like a real moment in pop music. Electric Lady and ArchAndroid are both amazing, but neither of them seem like they've like surmounted to a total like Janelle Monáe moment in pop culture. But it seems like these new singles are getting quite a bit of buzz in a way that some of her other stuff hasn't, and I'm excited. I'm very excited about it. Anyone else got any thoughts about these songs?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool that they release two different songs that are so different from each other. It's almost like to outline what the album's actually going to be like. So you're going to have like these unexpected elements, and I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's like here's this. We're going to show you. It'll be everything in between. It's just like it makes like the excitement for the album feel like, oh, she could take this a bunch of different places, and probably will. But like also the two songs like do fit well together. I yesterday when these songs was it? No, it was 2 days ago. What? Yeah, it was two. It would have been 2 days ago. I'm getting days confused. Anyways, but yeah, when the songs came out, like I would like listen to the one song over and over and over again, and switch over to the other, and then switch over back and forth, and I probably overplayed them a little bit that day, but like they were both hitting, and they kind of complement each other very well in that way.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, so shout out to Janelle Monáe. Dirty Computer's coming out April 27th, so that's going to be another hot album coming out this spring that I'm fucking ready for. Give it to me.
Boom. And next up on the single alert. Oh boy. Okay, this one I'm gonna hold my thoughts on this one. I'll let the love come through first. New Beach House song, Lemon Glow, and it's supposed from their new album, which is supposed to come out in the spring. No title, no date, just like, hey, here's a song, album on the way, LOL. There you go. But Jackson, I know this song has been hitting for you.
Well, I like the song a lot. I think I like it more than like the consensus is on it, but also like I get why people would be kind of let down by this single. Like I understand I understand like if you were like kind of let down by this. I totally get that. I like it personally because I kind of like how it seems like it's a little darker than the typical beach house fare. It's a little less like dreamlike and a little more kind of like there's kind of a almost sinister way to kind of especially about 2 minutes in, there's this kind of production shift that happens in the song where you get that synthesizer that's kind of the base of the track, and then there's kind of these like production things that come in with these like they sound kind of like the guitars on the comparison I've made a couple times is that they sound kind of like the guitars on like that Last Slow album that I love so much, and that's I think part of why I like it is because one, it just is a beach house song. Beach house songs are always gonna at the very least make me like slightly enjoy them just because the formula they work with her voice and the atmosphere is so like universally appealing. But I also think that I don't think this is going to be the song from the album that I like return to. It's not like, wow, this is incredible, but it has me optimistic about where this album could go. I'm hoping that the rest of the album kind of improves on the stuff that's going on here, because I think the kind of stuff that they're working with on this album could work really well for a beach house album. But I'm not necessarily like, this is the new great beach house song. That's my thoughts.
Pat or
Maddie,
Zach?
you don't like it, Maddie.
I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it. Fuck it. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't think it's good. I'm tired of Beach House, dude. Fucking okay. Here's the thing. Teen Dream. All right. Teen Dream, fucking incredible album. You see that they have this really natural and great evolution. You think Teen Dream, you listen to that, you go, damn, they're really gonna do something great next. And then they come out with Bloom, and it's like, okay, this is good. It's kind of a retread, but it's still pretty decent. And then the double of Depression Cherry and Thank You Lucky Stars, and you're like, they're really limited, aren't they? Like, they really have like a very limited sound, don't they? And this new song's not that much different. It's like, oh god, they're gonna make another they're just gonna make the same album again. Like, great. I'm sick of it, and I'm mad. I'm mad about it because Teen Dream is that fucking good, and I know they can do better than this, and they're choosing not to because there's some lazy son of a guns, and I don't like it.
My reaction is more that my reaction is more that, oh, they're making the same album again, and honestly, like, they're making the same album again, and I'm a little disappointed that they're doing that, but also, like, them making the same album again could very easily make my top 25 of the year. Like, there's a reason why they make the same album over and over again, because it's a great ass album.
It isn't. All right,
I still
it loses its value over time.
Like,
that's how economics works, Jackson. Things lose value over time.
Well, I don't believe in economics. That's all a load of rubbish. Economics is just bullshit. I didn't do well in it, and I don't believe in it. It's.
I don't know. I feel like they could have put this song on any of the albums, and it would like fit in perfectly. It doesn't really do that much that any of the other albums do. Like, I'd agree with you, Maddie. Like, it's kind of just the same Beach House formula over and over again. And even like the B-Sides album that we got not that long ago was, evidence of that. It was like, oh, this is just the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, I was bored with the single. Yeah, I was bored with the B-Sides.
Britt is here.
Oh, yeah, by the way, Britt, who was supposed to join us earlier, she is finally in the building.
Yeah, sorry, it's 3 a.m. I kind of doze off.
Britt is dedicated to the podcast, all right? She's in goddamn Germany, and she's like, I'm going to stay up real late and do the podcast, and boom, she's doing it. We got to shout out. We love a legend here on the podcast.
Oh, no, I'm just trying my best. Hello, I'm at SupBRuss on Twitter. And doing my best.
we're all doing our best.
Hey, Britt, you get a chance to yell about an artist that you hate on this next song that we're gonna be talking about. Unless we had any more thoughts on Beach House.
Boy. No.
Oh, no. I'm ready.
Father John Misty, who we were talking about earlier, he put out a new song called Mr. Tillman, and
Father John, here's my. Can I lead off?
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Needs to it's too soon. He needs to go away for 3 years before I can tolerate another Father John Misty album cycle. Like, I might end up liking this album a lot more than Pure Comedy, but I'm just not going to listen to it because I can't put myself through this emotionally right now. I needed a break, and I'm not getting that, and I'm upset about it. Go away, Father John Misty.
Yeah, I would like him to go away, but not for 3 years, kind of forever.
Okay, can't argue that logic.
Honestly, I don't blame you.
I admit I have not listened to this song because I know I would just get angry. And when I got Pure Comedy, it was 90 minutes of wasting my time of pretentious bullshit. Then I got really angry because I'm like, I can't get angry at him because he wins.
Yeah, it was similar to the Eminem album where I was just like, you know what? I'm better than this. I'm not going to get anything out of it. It's not going to be a fun bad listen. It's just going to make me mad. And I'm like, you know what? There are thousands of albums that will not make me mad. I'm not going to listen to one that I know will.
I mean, the chorus. First two lines are just, I'm feeling good, damn, I'm feeling fine. If that just doesn't make you inside hurt to your absolute core, then, I don't know what to think.
Father John Misty is Josh Tillman is a man that should not feel good. He should not feel fine. I want him. I don't want that. Well, here's the thing. My favorite album from Father John Misty is the one where he is feeling good and feeling fine, but after feeling like shit, and you get that journey, oh man, he has this kind of journey, and because his wife, and it's that's cute. And then Pure Comedy is well, here's the thing, Pure Comedy. I don't think I would have hated it as much if he actually was hey, let me make some songs, and not little ditties to to read my poetry over. It's just it's being at a very uncomfortable poetry jam for an hour and a half. Is what listening to Pure Comedy is like. It's just you're at this very uncomfortable poetry jam, and you're like, oh man, is this dude? What can he not? Doesn't he have a wife? I don't know. Anyways,
yeah.
Here's the thing. This song, it's fine, but yeah, it's too soon. I still need time to recover. We all still need time to recover.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially with the way that Pure Comedy just was and how it was so exhausting. It's I might be able to tolerate Father John Misty if he were to go away for a while and be all right, I've come up with this new album that is a really crafted. If he were to come back and be I've crafted an album and here are a bunch of songs that are all compelling and they add up to a larger message. And it's just like clearly he's just like, it's like what Mark Kozluk is doing, where he's just pumping stuff out, but it's not good because he's Father John Misty and he's not Mark Kozluk. That's literally the problem with trying to like create art like this, is that it requires, he's leaning so much more into his personality as an individual and like an academic and that sort of thing. And the problem is that if you do that in your music and then your personality sucks ass, then your music's gonna suck ass. If you do it and your personality is like good and engaging and you're like good at doing that, like Mark Kozluk is, then it's gonna be the best.
Well, that's
like,
the thing. Like,
it's just like,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
It's kind of the way that like Kanye is for some people. It's like, if you don't like Kanye's music is exhausting to listen to because his personality and who he is as a person is just all up in there, and you can't pull them apart. They're like stuck together, and that's similar with the recent output of Father John. Like, you could listen to songs on I Love You Honey Bear and just be like, oh, this is a nice love song. And you can listen to it outside of the context of capital F, capital J, capital M, Father John Misty. You know what I mean? Sort of.
Yeah, like
yeah.
You guys pretty much covered it, but I have a few things. Like, my biggest gripe with it is just it's not a good song. Like, I'd be okay with him coming back so soon if it were with a song like Chateau Lobby No. 4 or Hollywood Forever Cemetery Saints or even Ballad of the Dying Man. But this just isn't good. It's not. It's kind of boring. The lyrics don't stick with me, and it's just not a very interesting song. Oh, and Father John Misty, if you're listening to this, keep Jason Isbell's name out of your mouth, motherfucker.
There we go.
Title of the podcast right there.
Stay away from Jason Isbell, you motherfucker. Yeah, perfect. Next up on Single Alert, Mount Eerie has a new single. His new album, Now Only, comes out in March, and his AMA is this Monday, which I set up. You're welcome, y'all.
Gulp.
I'm again, you know, you can just, again, if you're a fan of this podcast, if you're a fan of me, just type "Go Off King" in the comments, because I know the king is me. But anyways, this new single, Mount Eerie, Tintin in Tibet. It's good. It's good. I probably heard this live in September. It's good. I very much want to listen to the album. I want to listen to some of these songs again. I want to support Phil, and I mean, the song, again, much like everything off Crow-Look-To-Me and much like Distortion, this is, again, incredible. Phil Elverum is just one of the greatest lyricists of our times, and again, no one has really written about, at least in music form, no one has really written about grief and death like Phil has, and it's this weirdly unique perspective, but also like very real too. That it's refreshing, you know. But
yeah, I think it's refreshing because it's so easy to connect to as well. There's like a sense of what he's writing about and what he's singing about is very specific to his own sort of, you know, things that happen to him. But then like it's really easy to connect to how he's feeling and how he's feeling with like grief and with his daughter. And I really like this single, and even like Distortion too, because it is like a continuation of A Crow Looked at Me, but with a lot more sort of depth in the instrumentation too. Like it's sort of more fleshed out, and it has a bit more than just, you know, like a drum machine and like just his acoustic guitar. Like it's a bit more built up too, and it's like a second part to A Crow Looked at Me. I love this single. It was so amazing.
I didn't listen to this single, but only because I listened to Distortion and it was incredible, and I was like, I'm gonna wait for the album for the rest of the singles. But I just have no doubt that, like, of course this is gonna be like phenomenal, and I love where it's going. I love what I've heard from the live shows from you guys, and I love that Distortion is incredible, and just like it's obviously going to be an incredible album. And I think not too long ago recently, I don't know if we've talked about this since last night, didn't he announce that there's basically going to be a third album that's going to be like a trilogy of these, essentially? Did he like officially announce that recently? I remember hearing that this is like the second of 3 albums, basically, that he's planning to make, the kind of deal with Genevieve's death in a variety of ways. And so, like, it's just so clear that like he's so like the mesh between like the way he's making the music and like what the music is about is so like clear and just so like it just works in a way that is really incredible, and I'm excited to hear new Mount Hearing music so much. Yes.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what it's like all sort of in with the album all at once, you know, like A Crow Looked at Me flowed so well together. And
yeah,
I think that this album is going to have the same strength as being almost like a story. You know, it's like he's kind of reading off this thing and this is how he's dealing with it. And like, these are all his memories with Genevieve. And, you know, and he like even talks about like, there's the one couple lines where he's like talking about taking the ferry to Victoria, you know, and like meeting up with this person. And so it almost gives like his memories a bit more depth, and you're able to kind of like latch onto these things in ways that I think A Crow Looked at Me, like you knew the story, you knew what happened, but now you're like, okay, like this is why he feels like this in relation to this person. It's just like so heartbreaking, but it's so beautiful.
And like also in the way that like this album feels a little more zoomed out, where like the kind of trauma and tragedy of the last album is there, but like in the distortion where he tells a story about like something that happened earlier in his life, and you can kind of feel him like the first album is just like he's reacting to this thing, and it's a singular work about this one thing, and like now it's like with more time he's kind of pulling other kind of parts of himself and his life into this kind of narrative structure of what he's talking about. And yeah, it's just so incredible. I'm excited. Which
is really interesting because like I think that's like one of the things that people know about Mount Eerie and Phil Elverum is that he's like such a private person, and he doesn't really have like those sort of threads to his life. So it is interesting that we're kind of getting, like you said, like it's almost shining a light on his personal life, and we're uncovering like these pieces of his relationships and stuff like that. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, again, not much to say. Is there any other singles we want to give a quick shout out to before we get into our
I'll shout out the new Hop Along single. I don't like it as much as the first one, which is How Simple, but Hop Along put out another song. It's a Hop Along song, so like it just bangs. I highly am excited for I believe the name of the album is called Go Ahead Dog Bark Your Head Off or something like that. It's like some variation of that kind of like phrase, and it's gonna be really, really, really fucking great because Hop Along rule really hard.
Oh,
and,
shit. We forgot to mention the new Kero Kero Bonito song, and they have a new EP out too.
Oh yeah, there is a new Kero Kero Bonito EP and song out, and
it fucking kicks ass. It kicks real fucking ass.
Whatever you do, don't. One of my favorite tweets I've seen in so long was Will tweeting, "This new Kero Kero Bonito song sounds like Death Grips," because he's just making fun of the like obvious comparison that anytime anyone hears anything distorted, people just immediately like say Death Grips, even though Death Grips doesn't sound like a lot of stuff. But yeah, that single rules, the EP rules, definitely worth checking out.
Also, shout out to the new Ice Age. That single is pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, the new Ice Age is good.
Ice Age back.
New Remo Drive song is like the new Remo Drive. It's fine. I don't get why people are so like up.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Like, what if people are like, "Oh, it's so bad." It's like it doesn't sound that different. It's a little bit cleaner than Greatest Hits, and like, duh, because they're on a fucking label now and they have money. Like, yeah. Like, fucking duh. It's fine. And they're good they're good boys. Rest in peace, Sam as a drummer. I'm a little sad about that, but hey,
Also, I'm very excited to hear that they've signed to Epitaph, because I was interning there when they met with Epitaph last summer, and I wasn't allowed to talk about it. But yeah, I think this single is good. I think in general, like, their transition from being just like band in their house, like making songs in their garage, to like real band. I mean, they're not going to be able to like capture what we love so much about Greatest Hits right away on their next project. But like, I know that they're going to make more good music. Like, they're just he's a very compelling songwriter, and they're really great together. And I think they're gonna make more really dope music, and I'm excited that they're on a label now and are gonna continue their upward ascension.
Yeah, and I'm seeing them live in a couple weeks, and they're gonna rock my damn face off.
Hell yeah, brother!
Any other quick singles we wanted to mention before we get into our main topic?
We got a lot of albums. We hit those right. You missed those by like 10 minutes. If you have any thoughts on those, you can share those real quick.
Sounds distractingly like Prince, like not in a bad way, but it's very distracting how much it sounds like Prince.
I was able to get over it on the first, but I totally like sometimes when you hear just like an influence so strongly, it can be like it's very distracting, like you said.
That's really all I got. It's good, but it's just distractingly like Prince. That's all I got.
Alrighty. And the po-po, the sirens are on. They want us to get to the main topic already. All right, police.
They've come to arrest me for my posts.
All right, main topic time. We're gonna do a little February recap and catch up because basically February, in terms of like music, is over. Like, there's not really gonna be anything sort of relevant to come out.
It was a real like middle-loaded month where like a lot of stuff came out in like the kind of second weekend type of range, and yeah,
but
like damn, there was a lot of stuff that came out. Wow.
Yeah. So we got a lot to talk about, and so we're gonna start off with a bigger one, or at least bigger in our for us. U.S. Girls in a Poem Unlimited, new album from U.S. Girls, the follow up to Half Free, which was on our top 10 albums of 2015 list. And I'll let Pat start off with this one because I know you're really into it.
Yeah, I've been listening to U.S. Girls for a while. This is like their 6th album or something, Meg Remy's project. But like, I think this is by far my favorite that they've come out with. It's such like a beautiful record with like a lot to sort of like latch onto lyrically, but then like the instrumentation kind of goes from like genre to genre. Like, I mean, you can get like disco out of this thing, and then there's like art pop and all sorts of like different like dancey stuff. Like, honestly, this is like such an amazing record, and honestly, like the production on this thing is pretty powerful as well. But I think like it has like a sense of catharticism as well. Like I think has a lot politically charged lyrics. Like, I mean, like some of the songs, I think Velvet for Sale is all about like gender politics. I mean, she had like some quote from Stereo Gum that I'm looking at right now, and it just says, men are lucky women have yet to take up arms. And although I hope this never happens and I completely disagree with violence is ever effective, this is the very idea that was right for the song. Like, she's actually talking about women fighting back, you know? And like the song's so psychedelic in the beginning, it kind of like builds up, and there's like the cool chorus in the middle, and like the brass instruments that are kind of behind her with like the vocals right in the middle. Like the production on this album is pretty amazing. I think a solid like 9 out of 10 for me. It was honestly my favorite project of hers.
And that's where I come in to say that I'm a little disappointed.
No, it isn't, motherfucker. Nope.
Okay,
nope. You're not gonna let you shit on it yet.
I'm not gonna shit on it, Zach. I'm not even like, I don't hate it. I'll let you go, but again, I'm next after you. So you go off King, and I get to go off King. Okay.
Okay. I'm probably going to keep this quick because I've only heard this album once so far, mostly because I was catching up on the other 3 albums I want to talk about tonight. But I got to agree with Pat. It's really freaking great. Like, first of all, don't get twisted. Rosebud, Song of the Year. It's locked in. Don't bother. It's already done. And, like, as to what he said with the production, like, there are a lot of interesting choices on here. Like, the first song, she's sampling her own breath and like making that part of the beat. I think that's really fucking cool. Like Rosebud, Incidental Boogie, those songs are fucking insane. Those were both absolutely fantastic songs. And like it's a lot. It's all good. Like the production is really interesting, and for the most part it works. But the lyrical ideas are really cool too. Like Rage of Plastics, I had no idea what that was about until I looked it up, and like, it's a really potent message. I believe it's about like women working in the plastic industry, and like their work is making them infertile. So like that's pretty much a protest song, I suppose. And then there's Mad as Hell, which was a NAH, and that was the big like political song on the album. I didn't like it as much, but was still pretty good. And Jesus, I'm rambling. Overall, it was a really, really good album. This is a meaningless distinction in February, but it's my album of the year so far, and I think that everybody should listen to it. There you go.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Album of the year so far.
Okay, it's my turn. It's my turn. Here's the thing. Oh, Zach, here's the thing, Zach. You only listened to it once. You can't jump the gun on me just yet, buddy. You can't jump the gun. I've listened to this a couple times. It's a little disappointing, but it's mainly disappointing because Half Free is just like that fucking good. Like Half Free is just like a really like the way it's structured and the way it flows. All these tracks, they flow into each other. It's just fucking brilliant. And I feel like In a Poem Unlimited doesn't quite have the flow that Half Free has. Like Half Free is just really like natural flow. And In a Poem Unlimited, sometimes it feels like, where this is the next track. That just kind of feels rough at points, just with some of these tracks. Like, it's kind of similar to the problem that I think that a lot of us had with the last LCD Sound System album, and that just the track listing was just not that good. The sequencing wasn't that good. And I feel like that's the case with this new album. And that I think like all these songs are good, but they just don't always flow right into each other. And I love the singles. Rosebud's great. Mad as Hell is great. Pearly Gates is great, but the album itself just like it didn't quite do it for me as much as I want it to because I love Half Free so much, and yeah, I'm just a little disappointed. I'm sorry.
I'll definitely concede to that. I don't think like the track sort of how each song flows into each other is that great. I think you're right. Half Free definitely benefited from that, but I don't know. Like I think each track on its own does exactly what it wanted to do. And, you know, despite like the genre style constantly changing from like different ones and that kind of affecting, you know, like the track listing and the order, I still think it's pretty fucking good.
So, were you gonna say something, Britt?
I'll agree on that one too. Pearly Gates is a bop. I love it. I love this album too. I'll admit I'm fairly new to this US Girls train, but I'm now officially upset at someone because they did not get me into they did not introduce US Girls to me sooner. But yeah, I've been bopping Half Free before In a Poem Unlimited came out, and you're right that it is a little choppier, but still, all the songs are really good on their own.
Anyone else?
I have not listened to this enough. I don't have coherent thoughts. U.S. Girls are generally good. I have not had my moment like where I'm like it's all come together, but I like appreciate all the little parts that make it good so far, and I definitely want to give this album more time. But like, there's been some other stuff that I've been bumping that we will get to later in this list.
Mm.
Alrighty, next album.
Yes.
Good? All right. New MGMT album, Little Dark Age. The boys, they're back after 4 years, and it looks like, oh boy, they're going through a goth synthy phase. Those boys. And you know what? This shit's good. It's fucking good, man. Just straight up. She works out too much. Very good. She works out too much is like fucking great. Like, because it's like such a... you could definitely tell that Ariel Pink did work on this album because just from that song alone, because that's such like an Ariel Pink type of song. She works out too much. Like, yeah, like it could be on an Ariel Pink album, and I'd be like, oh yeah.
Oh, same with James too.
Same with what?
James is really Ariel Pink. Yes,
that's an Ariel Pink song, and I refuse to believe otherwise.
But whoever's song it is, this album is really, really solid. Yeah, and the other thing that's nice about it is that it's 44 minutes and it's like not that many tracks, and it kind of And there's like there's like one or two little instrumental cuts in there, and it's a nice variety of this kind of gothy synth sound, but kind of some psychedelic kind of indie pop. I mean, it's what you expect from MGMT, but it's like it's delivering the kind of same product you want from MGMT, but in like a new kind of sonic package. And it's definitely, I think, their best work since Congratulations. It's one of their better albums for sure, and it's very enjoyable. Like, it's a good album to put on, and kind of, I really like Hand It Over and When You're Small as like those last two songs, like to close out the album, is really really nice. Like some nice kind of ballad stuff toward the end.
Me and Michael's also a jam. Me and Michael's a fucking jam.
MGMT listened to The Cure exactly one time, and they made a great album because of it.
Wait. More bands should look after The Cure for how to make good music.
Honestly, like, everyone should just rip off The Cure and just do that, and then like all of music can be that instead of like new ideas. I'm okay with that.
1900, music begins. 2018, all music is The Cure.
Like, man,
Exactly.
if I just got like 20 albums of The Forest over and over again, I'd be happy.
Oof, yes. Big mood. Yeah, shout out to MGMT. It's a pretty good album.
Any more thoughts on MGMT before we get to our next album?
Yeah, When You Die is really good.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah,
When
I
You
love
Die
When You
is
Die.
good. The lyrics, like, go fuck yourself. That whole like frame is so funny, but it also, like, he's like a little pissed off on that song. Like, it's more than just like tongue in cheek. Like, there's some actual like clear, like, genuine feeling about it, and like the whole like concept of the song, like, don't call me nice, shut the fuck up, like that.
He's
that
an
kind
angry
of,
goth.
He is an angry goth. Don't call me nice. I'm a goth. I'm seen now, and it works well. It's never like, there's never a moment in this album where it's like cheesy. And the other thing that's great about this album is, like, I think the thing that derails MGMT sometimes is like they kind of get too like in their own heads and like try to resist against some of their popular influences because they like want to be taken seriously, and they don't want to be just like the band that made kids. And because they're kind of in their head about that, they can sometimes lean away from the popular stuff in their music, which is what really holds their music together and makes it good. But like they really let themselves do some of their popular stuff here. Like, Me and Michael is like just so like pleasant and wonderful, and like they just let themselves kind of go there on this album in their own weird way, which was what works about it, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. I know Maddie has been itching to do this one for a long ass time.
Okay, next up on the catch up, the new Palm album, Rock Island, and this is one that I've had to wait fucking months. All right, I've had to wait since like November. All right, to talk about this on the podcast, or really go in depth on it on the podcast. And boy, oh boy, Palm are one of the most exciting indie rock bands out today. They're very nice people, as far as I know. No one's ever been like, damn, Palm, they were dicks to me at the show. Everyone has said that Palm are nice folks, and that's great. And this album is fucking good. I want to give a quick anti shout out to Pitchfork. Fuck Pitchfork, trying to put the 6.8 on my boy's Palm, or my boys and on my homie's Palm. You try to do a soft pay on them because they didn't need your fucking ass to get popular. Fuck you, Pitchfork. Fuck you. But this album is very good. I really like it a lot. I think before it came out, or before I heard it, a little hesitant on the singles. Like, I was a little hesitant on Pearly, but I got the album and I was like, damn, this album's hitting. And then Composite's really good, but as the version they did for Audio Tree is just, it's a little bit better. And then Dog Milk is fucking incredible. Like, that's a goddamn masterpiece of a song. But this album is really, really good. And what I really like about Palm, and this is like a comment I made a couple of times now, but I'm going to continue to say it because I need it to stick, is that for me at least, like, Palm is kind of like Anxiety sonified. And at least their songs, they always have this very unpredictable quality to them, and that they can just change in an instant. And and stuff is constantly shifting and feeling like it's out of place. Like the drums, there's times where the drums, they do feel like they're offbeat. And you're like, are these drums offbeat? And then of course the song keeps going. You're like, okay, I see what they're doing. This works. And the the guitars, they're just like, a lot of the guitars on this album, they have this like sort of this steel drum sound to them, because I think they did some shit, like they're messing around with like midis and pedals and whatnot, and they got this like steel drum sound from a goddamn guitar, and it sounds great, and anyone's like, oh, it's gimmicky, shut up, it works, fuck you. But this album is great. I think it is an album of the year contender for sure. Again, just tons of great songs in here. Of course, as I mentioned, Dog Milk is goddamned incredible. Dog Milk's great. Forced Hand is great. It's fucking chaotic. Bread is great. Heavy Lifting's great. Didn't What You Want Happen is great. There's just so many great songs in here, and I really want to see them live because I've heard nothing but good things about them live, and I love this album a lot. But Pat, I know you're taking it too.
Oh yeah, I mean, you pretty much said it all. Like, this album is definitely anxiety, like, personified. Like you said, I think that's the best way to say it. Like the drumming and like the guitars and everything, but everything just sounds so cohesive. And I think that's like one of the best things about Palm is that they just sound like they belong together, even though it's like such a disorienting sound. It just works so well together. And like this album just feels like a next step for them to be sort of like the better band, like, you know, taking it into a different direction. Because I think Shadow Expert is slightly different than this. I don't think it's sort of like the you can have them both in the same hand. I think they're both sort of different, but I definitely like this album. I think, like you said, Composite and Dog Milk are, you know, great tracks. The one thing I'll address right now is I don't really like the women comparison. I don't think that's really fair. I think those are two different bands. But the anxiety part of Women and Palm definitely fit together. But yeah, really cool album. Loved it.
Yeah, so Rock Island in stores now. Pitchfork, once again, fuck you for because I just hate when they do that sometimes, where they obviously just do a soft pan just so they can bring bands down. It's like fucking Zach, you can relate to it a little bit on this analogy. It's like when like WWE, they bring a guy in, like it's like when they brought Brock back in 2012. You know, they had him lose the Cena claim. It's just, again, they have these guys who go off and do their own thing, and they end up getting fucking massive, and then whenever they come back, you know, they knock them down a couple pegs, you know? So, that's what I feel like they're doing. But anyways, but for real though, it sounds
Pitchfork is pro wrestling. I do agree with that that comparison that Pitchfork is. I don't know what their motivation for panning the Palm album is, but I definitely agree.
It's just dumb, and this band again, really promising young band. Again, they're going to continue to go on to do great things. Again, this is right now. Again, there's not really a lot of bands right now that sound like Palm, which is why like I don't like to compare them to any other bands, because it's like
they're doing their own thing.
They don't really sound like anybody else. You know, you can try to throw out like, oh, it sounds like Animal Collective, or yeah, it sounds like Women. It's like, I mean, yeah, but like it's very base level. It's like, yeah, they kind of have that influence. Like, obviously there's still like, there's like kind of a Brian Wilson influence on this album, but really like there's not a whole lot of pop music that isn't influenced by Brian Wilson and Beach Boys. But this album is good as hell, brother, and you should all listen to it. It is going to be the one that needs the highest recommendation out of all the albums we're talking about tonight, for me at least. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So yeah, let's again move on to the next album. Zach, I'll let you talk about this one because I know you're the closest we have to a stan in the podcast right now. Yeah. Rest in peace, Dylan.
I wish Dylan were here. They would have a lot more intelligent things to say about it than I do. But last Friday, while everyone was getting all caught up in the hype over the Twin Fantasy remaster, and don't worry, we'll get to that. Matty decided to nonchalantly, like as if he didn't know how much of a firestorm was going to cause, say, Dylan, by the way, Nicholas Jar dropped a new album. And Dylan and I were both like, what? Explain, now! And we found out that it was this album, by AAL Against All Logic, 2012-2017. AAL is one of Nicholas Jar's pseudonyms. I believe this is the first album he has released under this name. And it's pretty much his outlet, I guess, for like his more funk-oriented songs. Like, that's more recognizably, techno. Something you'd hear in a club, as opposed to like the stuff on Sirens. And I don't have a whole lot. I only listened to this one today, so I could talk about it just a tiny bit. But it's pretty good. Like, there are songs on here that really groove in a way that I haven't heard, in a way that most of the songs I've heard from Nicholas Jar don't. It's a really nice change of pace, especially, let me pull it up real quick. What's the song? I Never Dream. That is a fantastic song. It is groovy as hell. It is really one of the best songs I've heard all year. And that alone justifies the album's existence. Like, it's all good, but I Never Dream, and yeah, it's fantastic. Oh, and if you need another reason to listen to it, Such a Bad Way samples I Am a God by Kanye West. There you go. Listen to it.
Yeah, shout out to Nicholas Jar for being that dude. Always. Also, it was funny because Maddie's like, hey, there's a new Nicholas Jar album, and Zach and Dylan were like, what, where, what, explain, and then Maddie just, like, was gone from the chat for, like, 20 minutes.
I wasn't gone for, like, 20 minutes. I was gone for, like, 2 or 3 minutes, and then, like, what? I was trying to find the link. I was trying to get the link for them to show, like, hey, this is out. Alright, because I saw it on Indie Heads, and I'm like, wait, what? New Nicholas Jar? Like, okay. And then it's like, I'm like, hey, by the way, guys, did you guys know there's a new Nicholas Jar album? And, you know, Zach, because I knew Dylan would freak out, because, you know, Dylan is like, Dylan and Zach for sure are the Nico Jar stands of the chat, and I love Sirens. But, yeah, they freaked out, and I'm sorry for not coming instantly with a link. I should have known better.
That's all right. He is a sweet techno boy, and he has gifted us with yet another wonderful album. Praise be.
Next album on the list, Pat, I think, did you put this one down?
Yeah, actually, I listened to it the other day, and I kind of kept coming back to it because I really liked it. But American Pleasure Club, a whole fucking lifetime of this, really good album. Ew, Sam Ray. I actually think this is like the best thing that Sam Ray's put out. Like, there's a certain emotional layering that maybe doesn't fall in line with like the rest of his projects do. Not to say that it doesn't like incorporate obvious, you know, emo influences, but definitely more planned out, more thought out. Feels like a very cohesive, you know, project that he put together, that he had a plan for. Has a lot of beautiful tracks, like the lead single. I think it was the lead single. This Is Heaven and I'd Die for It, and All the Lonely Nights in Your Life. Like, both super cool tracks. Like the one hook in This Is Heaven and I'd Die for It is "Art is dead. Read the personal ad. Keep getting stoned and you'll never be sad. Look for coke in a state of bliss. This is heaven and I'd die for it." Like, that's just amazing. But I think like Sam Ray is maybe one of those musicians that, despite like his personality, people maybe like pan him and don't listen to his stuff. But honestly, like this is evidence that he's a fantastic songwriter, and you know has a talent for writing good melancholic music. Like, this is a great album. I'm gonna
defer from you, Pat, because Sam Ray blocked me on Twitter, so. Can't listen to anything he ever makes. So I made fun of it. I probably made fun of him because I think he was trying to. I think it was during the whole Carsey Headrest feud, and he basically just like set himself up for a known. I just like went straight for it, and also like he and his wife are just like annoying. Him and Kitty are just annoying people, I think. But so yeah, I got blocked.
We've probably spent like an hour talking about Sam Ray on this podcast, and this might be the first time we've ever talked about an album that he's put out.
Because Sam Ray wishes he could like grab the headlines, like Father John Misty and whatnot. Because he tries, he really does try. Trust me, he really wants to get all those headlines, but he doesn't have the PR machine behind him like Father John Misty does. But I got nothing to say about this album. I just want to say that Sam Ray blocked.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I didn't listen to this album right away just because I wasn't really like. I kind of think Sam Ray is maybe kind of a dick, but I kind of listened to it because I saw that it had come out, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll listen to it. And yeah, honestly, it's a pretty good album.
Ba-boom, ba-boom.
All right, this next one is another one that we've been waiting to do for a minute here. Because Mr. Mr. Matty Monroe is he's got his connections. He's in the industry. He's getting the albums early. He's hearing these sneak peeks. And Matty, for a minute now, has been like, "Yo, this new Ought album bangs." And I mean, we've been talking about this album for a minute since These Three Things came out, which was like a great single. And since then, the singles have increasingly Galaxy Brain-esque gotten even wilder, because we went to Disgraced in America, which has like a beat switch on it and is fucking awesome. Oh, the rock and roll version of like a beat switch. But you got the Ought album, and then to have the third fucking single be Desire, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But the album is here. But I think the thing that's interesting is that some people don't like this album, and it seems like this album is kind of getting a pushback of people who are like, after the year 2017, people are checking out this Ought album and they are like, we're tired of post-punk. Which honestly...
hey, Jackson, let's just name names. I'm going to name names. Sorry, Will and Ted, y'all are wrong. Y'all have some horrendous takes about this new Ought album.
Their takes are not just their own takes. I think there is a general feeling of... I mean, Will's take is just that this is not music Will was ever going to.
Oh, no, here's the thing with Will. We know Will's not a post-punk guy. That's well established. Ted, I'm not... Here's the thing. I forgive Will because Will's a good boy, and I think through his irony-laced Mike's Hard Lemonade tweets got me to start drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade, and I like it. So, God bless Will for that. But Ted, I'm not gonna forgive Ted. Ted's got bad takes because he's like Tim Darcy sounds like he's dying, and it's like, yeah, it's awesome. What are you talking about? That's the point.
Some people don't like. I like the vocals. Really, the thing about this album I thought was interesting is basically what they did is they streamlined some of the production and made a lot of the production more conventional, but like as the songs themselves got less angular and more like kind of danceable and melodic, his voice got weirder. So it's like taking the Ought sound and refining it and making it a little more kind of forward driving and some more pop sensibilities to it. But like then Tim Darcy's just completely going. He's taken the David Byrne dials and he's cranked them all the way up to like 11, and I get why, like, and there's definitely some parts of the album where like there's a couple like vocal takes he does on certain lines where I'm like, well, yeah, I don't know if he had to do that there, but like I think for me the payoff is worth it because some of the risks he takes work out so well, and we get some of these like incredibly compelling like lyrical and vocal performances on this album. Like, I mean, Desire is incredible. Desire is so freaking good, and the fact that they put a choir on it and it like wasn't weird or tacky or anything, it just worked. And the way that song and some of these albums build, I think the biggest like complaint I have about it is that it's kind of front loaded. Not that like there's no good songs on the back half of it, but like all of the songs that immediately like stick with me and are highlights all come on side A for the most part, and because of that it's a short album, so it's not like it loses steam. It's only 40 minutes, but like after Desire, like the last 4 songs in the album are way like less engaging. I think the problem is that this album doesn't take as many risks as some of their. It takes risks in different ways.
No.
I mean,
okay, Jackson, you're okay. Jackson, you're not going
Brief
off.
Shield,
you're getting
Brief Shield and Pieces Wasted are just like, it's just Brief Shield is really mid. I'll be honest. I don't like.
I will agree that Brief Shield is my least favorite song on the album, but it's still very good. And Pieces Wasted is fucking incredible. I think you got the wrong. I think you're mistaking it for the wrong song, buddy. All right, hang on. I gotta pull my Lil Wayne shit right now. Hang on. Y'all hear that? Did that come through on the mic?
What was that?
My light. I'm flicking a lighter, like Lil Wayne.
Oh.
Okay. Anyways, I didn't go off on the mic. Anyways, hey, this new Ought album is fucking incredible. It was goddamn incredible shit. I've had it for a few months. Not as long as I've had the Palm album, but I've had it a bit longer than everyone else. You know, definitely. I've had it, like, I think it's like January. I want to say it's fucking incredible. Okay, like here's the thing. Brief Shield, I will agree. least favorite song on the album. But again, to say that they're not taking as many risks on this album as they are on their first two albums, it's a goddamn lie, Jackson. You know it. It's a fucking lie. You know this is a lie.
I phrased that incorrectly, but like for me, like Ought was like this band that kind of had more of a Palm kind of edge to them, like you were talking about earlier, the kind of feeling of the song that like is in a really weird time signature and it's kind of like falling apart. You know what I mean? Like Sun Coming Down had a lot of that stuff, and like clearly on this album they want to like channel kind of a different kind of post-punk sound, a little more new wavy, a little more, and I think it really works them. I love it. I don't want to pretend like I'm just like kind of acknowledging the devil's advocate point where like I get kind of why people are not loving this album. I think they're wrong, but I understand it, is I guess what I'm trying to say. I like this album a lot. I think it's very good. I recommend it. I think Desire is a Song of the Year contender. Tim Darcy is good. And yeah, I think also this album is, I think, their best album lyrically is the other thing I think that is really strong about it. Like, Tim Darcy goes off on this album with a number of in these three things is when he there's just so many memorable like turns of phrase that he uses, and it's like, how did you think to like describe something in that way? And just it's so cool. I loved it.
But yeah, as you say, yeah, this is a great album. Take Everything, or okay, I think Pieces Wasted. Yeah, Pieces Wasted. Take Everything is fucking amazing. I think Pieces Wasted. It's definitely more. Pieces Wasted is definitely the thing with Palm, or not with Palm, with Ought, I will agree, is that even with the last album, yes, the second half is usually a bit more is not as great, mainly because the center. Ought, I love you guys, I love you, but God, you gotta stop making your centerpieces like so fucking good on your albums, okay? Beautiful Blue Sky was the centerpiece of Sun Coming Down, and I love Sun Coming Down. It's a great album. I've wrote extensively about it. But yeah, one Beautiful Blue Sky is it's that fucking song, and it's like, goddamn guys, you gotta chill, And it's a similar case for this album, although I do think that it does bounce back pretty well because I do really like Brief Shield. I think Brief Shield's like a really good juxtaposition with Desire, where Desire is like, again, it's this sort of glorious song, and Brief Shield is sort of the depressing like aftermath and the reality of like the situation. And then, as you said, Disgrace in America, goddamn beat switch, bro, with the sort of going like the sort of the back and forth of like the yelling vocals and the drums. Oh, it's so good. There's just so many great musical moments on this album, and you really see that these guys have grown as musicians. They're really trying some new things on here, and they're doing really well at it because, you know, I think they were put in a bubble, you know, put in a sort of they're put in a box, and this is them kind of like, hey, we can do this stuff too, and I think they succeed massively at it. So, I love this album a lot. And
yeah, I'd agree with that. Gotta keep it short, but I just want to say that, like, I agree that they're kind of like they were put into the bubble of post-punk, you know? Like, everybody wanted them to do the next album to be exactly the same. I think this is a great example of them sort of branching off and making something that's just as good, that's lyrically more personal, that's lyrically more, has something else to latch on to. And yeah, sorry.
So you're fine, Pat. You good?
Yeah, that's did we skip an album on the list?
You skipped one that I think you put down, the Caroline Rose album. I was like, why?
Oh yes,
I did not put that down. So my take on this is that I didn't listen to this album. I didn't know who Caroline Rose is, and then I like 5 minutes before the podcast, I was listening to it for a little bit, and goddamn, it was really good. I wish I had listened to it before the podcast so I could have opinions on it.
Okay, but who put it down on the list?
Zach.
on it. Hi, hello.
Okay, Zach, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Jackson, that's on you, because I was like, I was gonna take a little breather because I knew, you know, you or Zach were gonna talk about this album, and it's like, oh, we're talking about Ought. Okay, cool. So we'll go back a little bit.
I skipped that.
We'll go back a little bit. And talk. Zach, go off, King, on this Caroline Rose album.
Okay, so this is an album that wasn't really on my radar until I saw that New West was pulling it out. And New West, they're a quality label. They did a lot of at Drive-By Truckers' early stuff when they were in their golden age in the early 2000s. So that's a label I trust, and I decided to take a flyer on the album for when it eventually came out. And then it actually came out, and it honestly exceeded my expectations. Like, I had none going in, but it was just a really well-crafted, very memorable indie pop record. Caroline's voice is fantastic. The production is rock solid all the way throughout. And there are songs on here like Jeannie Becomes a Mom that deserve to be up there with the best songs of the year so far. I don't think this album has a whole lot of traction with everybody, with like the internet yet, but hopefully that's going to change, because this is an album that deserves to be heard by many more people. It's not perfect, but it is a really great pop record that I think that people should listen to and appreciate as much as I do. Jackson, for one, you should really finish listening to it. It's worth your while. So yeah.
I absolutely will. The thing that sells you most in this album by far is the album cover is so good. The album cover,
God, yes.
For those of you listening at home who are this is an auditory medium and not a visual one, go ahead and look it up right now. Loner by Caroline Rose, and she's in like a workout getup that's like all red, and she's got this headband on, she's got a towel around her neck, but she's doing a workout, but then she's got like 13 cigarettes in her mouth, and she's lighting all of them at once, and it's an incredible visual that's like really funny and like tongue in cheek, and like from what I've listened to of it so far, like definitely really like fits the sound of the album, the kind of vibe that it gives off, and it's just a great cover, which is always nice.
It is so choice, and it's only 35 minutes. You got nothing to lose. It's like half of a car seat headrest.
Song, half of a car seat headrest song about.
Yeah, I was listening to this album too, like literally like right before I kind of dozed off on the podcast. Yeah, I really liked Soul Number 5, and I really liked Money, but I think it was getting to me or To Die Today. But I was sitting there thinking, like, this sounds a little bit like 3WW from the last Alt J album, and I'm like, huh. But it's better. Not in a bad way. It's better.
That was the thing with that Alt J album. It was like I don't know what they're doing with this, but like I was bummed because like I almost liked it. Like it was close to being something that was good, and I'm just like I would someone could have made this album in a way that was good. So hearing that like she does it better makes a lot of sense.
Just on like that one particular track, that's really the only time I got the vibe. The rest of them, she kind of does her own thing.
Yeah. So shout out to Caroline Rose.
But folks,
but now we got the big one, which we've been waiting for a damn. We've really been waiting 7 years when you think about it.
Well, a little bit,
because it's time to talk about Twin Fantasy.
Is that how long we've been waiting for this album, or is that how long we've been waiting for Alex?
No.
Yeah, we've been so Alex was scheduled to appear on this podcast, and he should be here because it's we're talking about damn Twin Fantasy, but our baby boy, our large adult son Alex, which by the way, Britt, you missed the part where we established that that large adult son is a gender neutral term, and that we are all large adult sons on the Indie Heads podcast.
All right, I endorse this.
There we go. We've got an endorsement. But our large adult son Alex is not here. Again, I texted him. I Facebook messaged him. Our boy Jonathan Brexit, he's not in the house, so we are going to have to sadly continue. Episode name proposal, my large adult son. We don't see each other. But Sky, I'm just seeing if Alex is gonna pop up, and I just see that fucking message. Thank you, Zach. But yeah, new Car Seat Headrest album, Twin Fantasy. Or that's got the pseudonym of Twin Fantasy Face to Face. The bastard Manuel Toledo, he's like, so he signed to Matador Records in 2015, and he's like, okay, Matador, here's how we're going to do things. The first album I'm going to give you, it's going to be basically like this kind of like pseudo compilation album that sort of is me re-recording like some of my old songs and putting them all in one album.
Pretty much the greatest hits.
Basically. And then he's like, okay, I'll give you guys an album of fully original material. That's Stains of Denial, which was the 2016 album of the year. I don't care what we said or what what our podcast album of the year was. It was Teens of Denial. It should have been with the damn dastardly bastards Jeremiah and AJ. They brainwashed everybody to be Japanese Breakfast fans, and gladly so, because Jay Brecky's great. But anyways, and then that boy Will Toledo was like, hey, and then I'm gonna remake Twin Fantasy, and you know what he did? You know what he did? Jackson, what did he do? What did he do?
He did the damn thing.
He went off King.
Did he remake it?
He remade the damn album, and it's fucking great. We discussed this on the Cats episode, but goddamn, this new Twin Fantasy remake, folks, it's fucking good. And Will Toledo is a bastard man because he's too good. He's too fucking good at making songs, and it frustrates me. Because it's like, this man should not be this good at music, and yet he is. And it's like, goddamn, Will Toledo, you continue to go off, King.
I can't believe that Pitchfork's best new music currently is U.S. Girls, Will Toledo, and Cupcake.
It was
the
only
Holy Trinity,
Cupcake.
as it was meant to be.
It was only Cupcake
Incredible.
for Cupcake for a while. Like literally January, it was just like, are we gonna get a best new music? And it's like, nope, Cupcake. It's like, okay, cool. And this is not.
She's gonna hold the title forever.
This is not to hate on Cupcake. Cupcake is a wholesome figure in hip hop, but at the same time, it's like, this is gonna be the only album that has best new music in January. And January was a pretty solid month for music. Okay, there were some really good albums. Like Jeff Rosenstock should have got best new music, But what are we gonna do? But anyways, Twin Fantasy.
Just Cupcake.
Twin Fantasy.
This is the new Holy Trinity, the old one, but we don't talk about the old one anymore because, yeah.
Yes, we don't talk about
New
the
Holy
old.
Trinity.
Twin Fantasy, Mirror to Mirror. We don't see each other much.
Yeah.
Thank you, whoever laughed.
I think that thing that's wild about this album is that, like, how did he make an album that captured what listening to the original album is like very true to it, but also like takes enough liberties that it feels worthwhile to like listen to it. Like, it doesn't just feel like it's retreading the same ground. It feels revitalized and new, and it's got new ideas and elements and improvements, and it also just like it bangs. It goes so hard, and that's the great thing. Like the lo-fi aesthetic is good for the original one because it conveys that kind of emotional vulnerability and the voyeurism aspect of it. But like the problem is that when you've got lower-fi recordings, when you've got sick riffs and sweet drum patterns, they don't bang as hard when your production isn't as good. But like these songs are like ready to just fucking, like, my favorite song on the album, as no secret to anyone who's talked to me in the last week, is Bodies. And I love how like completely pop and completely danceable it is, but in the Will Toledo way, in which it's he basically takes a pop song, stretches it out to 7 minutes, and then jumbles the various components of a pop song into this order that no longer resembles a structure of a pop song, but has all of the elements, and is just like 6 minutes of catharsis and goodness and wrapping your arms around shoulders.
Yes, but let's backtrack a little bit for the people who aren't familiar with Twin Fantasy and Car Seat Headrest. So Car Seat Headrest, they're a band, they're a band. But for real though, okay. So the band was started by Will Toledo in 2010 as basically sort of a solo project, and the name Car Seat Headrest came from the fact that he recorded like basically all of his vocals inside like the back of his parents' car, like out in like Target parking lots and whatnot, so he wouldn't like disturb anybody. But he had put out a couple albums in 2010, all self-released on Bandcamp, and put out like and 2 albums in 2011. One of which was Twin Fantasy, which is this again essentially this sort of really ambitious concept album about a relationship that Toledo had with another man, and and I don't want to get into conspiracying about who this other guy is, and because Toledo don't like that.
That's not the point.
That's not the point. That's not the point. What the point is, and the reason what this has gotten, it got a huge cult following, since its release, and the reason being was because it was a very emotionally resonating album. Just a lot of people, hey, have I ever been in a relationship with a man? No. But can I relate to, feeling like we were wrecks before we crashed into each other? Yes. Like, obviously. So there's just a lot of emotions that a lot of people resonated with. And also because, the lo-fi quality of the album, because it was self-recorded and self-produced and everything was done by Will Toledo himself, basically. Because of that, it does bring this very intimate quality that you really feel like you're being let into his personal life in a lot of ways. You feel like you're kind of reading this dude's diary when you feel like you shouldn't be, but at the same time you're really grateful because you found some emotional resonance. You feel like you listen to this album and you go, damn, I'm not alone. And so basically for this album, Will Toledo had to do that again. Had to recreate these feelings, essentially, but you didn't have to exactly do that. But what I like about this remake is that, again, it is still as emotionally resonant as the original, but it obviously comes from a much more mature place. Like, there's not a whole lot of lyrical changes. There's not a whole lot. It does take some liberties in some songs, like High to Death. He takes some pretty massive liberties a little bit, but for the most part, most of the lyrics and most of the songs are relatively the same. But you can tell by the way he sings these songs. You can tell by his tone of voice, and obviously just the better production and the better instrumentation. That again, this is a Twin Fantasy. The original version was chaos in the moment, and this is sort of looking. This is now that kind of he looks back on the chaos a little bit, and again, it's bringing something new to something very familiar, and that's very hard to do. And I think he does it really incredibly well in this album. And I'll get to some of my favorite songs and discuss it a bit more. But I'll let someone continue.
Real quickly, going kind of off of that, like Carsey had the one thing that's really interesting about this album is that it's not just about like a relationship. Like obviously there is like a real person that he's talking about, but like he also very clearly articulates this idea that one of the biggest themes of the album is this idea that the you and the me. So when he sings these songs about this other person, he uses you and he uses me, but he also acknowledges the fact that the you that he's created in these lyrics, the version of his lover / brother that exists in this album is just that. It is a version. It is not the actual. The concept that when you write about another person or when you turn them into the subject of art, you basically that person no longer is the person that they are. They become a character that is constructed and can never really. And especially I think on this one now, as compared to the old one, the very end monologue at the end of the title track, the final song on the album, resonated a lot better with me than the original. And kind of going back to the maturity, like I think it's moments like that where you see the maturity change. Like the difference between the monologue at the end of Twin Fantasy Those Boys on the 2011 version versus this one, the kind of these are only lyrics now speech that he gives. This is the end of the song, and it's just a song. It's a version of me that can exist outside of everything else. And if it is just a fantasy, then anything can happen here. It's this idea that he has this relationship that it doesn't work out, and there's this kind of heartbreak, and there's this coming together and suddenly not being alone again, and then having that taken away, and that whole arc of it. But basically he says, like, in the context of this album, I can create a fantasy. I can create this fantasy world in which this romance happens the way that it's written in the art rather than the way it happens in real life. And that's why I think he gets frustrated about that sort of thing, because it's like the whole point of the album is that it's about someone else, but it's not about them. It's about this constructed narrative that he's told that borrows from his life, but isn't It's not like an album like Crow Looked at Me, where it's like, this happened to me in my life, and I'm conveying it to you one to one. There's a clear like artistic process that happens between the stuff that happens to him in his life and the way it manifests in the song. And I think that's why he's sick of answering questions about, Twin Fantasy is an album about Will Toledo and his gay relationship. It's like, no, it's an album about two characters who are addressed in the story as me and you. They don't have names, but like they are two people that you learn about through the context of the songs, not from like the real life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that it's more of a fleshing out a character. The second go around here, like there's a lot of parts in this album where it's almost like he's talking to his younger version of himself or the younger version of that character. And so like this album almost just feels like a more detailed, sort of like a vivid image of that character portrait or of the speaker or, you know, whatever the character of Twin Fantasy is. So then when we get like these surrealist lyrics where he's like at the end of that song where it's like the monologue where he's just like, you know, it's a fantasy, this is just something that's happening. I think it's almost like a continuation and but also a re-recording of the same album, but fleshing it out a little bit more, you know, like he's giving you more to latch on to. And I think that's also where like, the hi-fi versus lo-fi, I mean, it's not really hi-fi. It's like, I would say even Teens of Denial is a much better production quality than this, but I think that was done on purpose, you know, like he didn't want to make it too different, but also keeping, you know, that sense of catharsis that was so vivid in the original Twin Fantasy. So yeah, I definitely agree. That was a good point, Jackson.
And like talking about looking back on things, I thought that was that kind of idea that's inserted into the album is really, really well, like in the High to Death, the sort of ambient skit section at the end of High to Death with the senior talking about her art portfolio. At first I was like, what the hell is this? This is so weird. But like when you read like what that says and kind of think about how it relates to Will and how he's remaking this album, there's this part in the speech that she gives where she talks about she's talking about the lady, this painting that she did. She says, I love her, at least I did, and now I feel lost. I'm sure of what to think or make most of the time, but I did believe in her, the lady, and maybe there's a different form now that intensity takes. And it's an artist talking about a piece that they made in the past at a very intense moment in their life, and they look back on it now and they simultaneously feel the feelings that are there, but also that person is a stranger to them now. The person that made that art is no longer the person they are today. And so by having that weird abstract skit in there, he kind of the moments where he most clearly adds or deletes something from the album are all very telling about the kind of change between the two and the change between him now and him then. And I think that's all super interesting, the way that he manages to add all these new messages and ideas about this meta process of songwriting in just little details and kind of outros and intros to songs.
I want to go back a little bit to what you said. You're talking about the end of High to Death with the passage.
Yeah.
And High to Death again, which was probably my least favorite song in the original Twin Fantasy, is probably my favorite now on this new version because
it's so good.
It's so good because the thing with High to Death on the original is that you don't really know, you can't understand what he's saying, which is fine, but at the same time I feel like Will Toledo is someone that you kind of have to know what he's saying for you to really feel what he's talking about, you know, especially on a song like High to Death. Like you really understand what he's saying, because it adds so much power to the song. And like, yeah, that the end passage is great and really emotionally resonant. And then the Ray Bradbury short film, the William, you know, the kid, you know, saying William is like really like, goddamn. Because because my first thought was like, is this like a home video or something? Like did this man's like
the use of his name in there is so great.
And yeah, and then the song from Monomania that he does a sort of an interpolation of, you know, I can't turn this thing off. It's just like, goddamn. And that's why I'm really glad that this album exists, because I do think Twin Fantasy, as great as the original Twin Fantasy is, there are still things in that album that are like, damn, if he just had better production, like it could have been just like that much greater. And I feel like this album does kind of accomplish that. It's like it does fully realize the potential of Twin Fantasy. And that is like a very interesting and kind of amazing feat.
Also, kind of talking about interpolations, there were so many moments in this album where he'll add in like the moment where he brings back the melody from Stop Smoking on High to Death as the Keep Smoking, I Love You, Keep Smoking, I Love You, which is so great because like the way the album is structured is that there's the first two songs that are just so like emotionally intense, and like you start the album with Beach Life and Death, and then you get all these like kind of more fun songs in the middle, these songs that are dancier, punchier, more single kind of songs, and then you got the end of the album. You get High to Death. You get High to Death. You get Famous Prophets, and then you get there's kind of a come up, then the come down toward the end of it, and the way that the end of the album kind of mirrors the beginning, but it's this sort of different place that it's in, is like really interesting to me in terms of like all those kind of like themes that come back around. And I think like talking about how he's so meta with the songwriting stuff, like I love the way that like they interpolate, like he'll bring in stuff from other Car Seat Headrest albums, like a refrain from just a random other song he's done. He'll bring back refrains that were on songs earlier on the album into choruses, and he'll layer multiple choruses on top of each other. It's so alive in the way that it relates to his other work. And I thought that kind of, it was on the original album a little bit, the way that some things would repeat, but like it's really clearly more so like it's just even more ways in which the album is all tied together, like between the songs.
Yeah, I was gonna point that out actually, because I was like, I don't remember hearing it on the first Twin Fantasy, because I was like, you're right, Matt, I could barely understand what he was saying sometimes. I'm like, ugh. But on the other hand, I was listening to it, and once I heard like the Keep Smoking, I Love You thing, I was like, oh, that's a parallel we've got there. That's interesting. I like that. And, it kind of matches with the face-to-face theme here, with that he titled this album with. So, mirrors.
Which I think...
That came back.
Sorry. I was going to say, I feel like the face-to-face, mirror-to-mirror thing, I think they're very... They fit, because mirror-to-mirror is, it's sort of it's very internal. Like, Twin Fantasy, it's very much like Will, it's very much about himself. It obviously is about the other person, but I feel like this new album, because of the more like emotionally mature standpoint, it does, in the original version, it's really like, oh, you really feel Will Toledo, like you really feel how he feels. But in this album, you do get a bit more, you feel like you get a better insight into the person he's talking to, because of some of the changes he's made to these songs, and generally just because, the more emotionally mature standpoint of like, hey, you're not just like a muse for my music, like this is just like you were like a really important person in my life at this one point. So you feel like there's a real growth that this album has, and I feel like the sort of the subtitles really do represent that. Mirror to Mirror is like, this is on me, and Face to Face, it's like really, it's still very much about Will Toledo, but it's still also about, you really do get a better insight into the person he's talking to. You feel like you know them better.
And there's also there's at least one like lyrical reference to mirrors, I think on Famous Prophets. I found it. There's the line, and when the mirror breaks. Yeah, he says that, and when the mirror breaks, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Call it Black Star, the Pain Star. Then the same thing happens when you touch it. Yeah,
and he quotes 1 Corinthians at the end of it. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, then we shall see face to face.
Oh wow, yeah,
that's some profound shit.
Yeah, and it's also just like the way that he's able to just like reuse themes and images. Like he's clearly like he's such a like a writer, like in the way that he's like thinking about the album as a piece that has all these themes and motifs that he'll bring back. And of course we have the do you have something against dogs motif, which it becomes a line on Beach Death. But yeah, I just, it's so like self-referential in a way that really works for it.
And hold on, I think our large adult son, I think he's.
Oh, actually, I don't know.
Is he in the call, or he's in the chat? I think he's returned to the chat. But
see,
hang on, let's try to figure out what the deal is.
Do you want to take a break for a second?
I just saw. Where'd he go?
144.
Anyways. As you were saying about Twin Fantasy, it is a great album, and we discussed some of the songs before because they came out as singles and they're very good. And but yeah, I think a very important song, some very important changes. "Sober to Death" was a song that I was the most worried about going into the album. I'm like, how is he going to do Sober to Death? Because I do remember him talking in an interview about saying that he did say that Sober to Death is like kind of toxic. And that was like, what's he gonna do on the new version? Because, again, Sober to Death is like, again, it's a great song, but I do see his point that it's toxic. It's like, it kind of is, but that's kind of the appeal of it, you know? And the new version, it's not much different. It really isn't much different, just, you know, obviously, you know, it's a bit more beefy when it comes to the instrumentation and the production. It doesn't quite have the same magic as the original, but I don't really expect it to. But what this album does is that this album, it does still have the same magic as the original has, and that's fucking weird. Like, I wasn't really expecting that, you know? Like, I was expecting just like, yeah, it's a bit of an upgrade, but it's like, it really does have that feeling that the original gave me, and that's, like, again, Will Toledo, Jesus Christ, the Bastard Man, he does it again.
Well, I think people were worried that when we heard it was going to be new recordings, like, we were worried it would lose all of the, like, the feeling of it, because we were just like, what if he had come back and re-recorded Twin Fantasy as, like, this clean, like, well put. It still has, like, it's all rough around the edges. Like, there was a thing in the Pitchfork reviews, like, some people will be surprised that there is a more lo-fi version of this, because it is kind of lo-fi in certain ways. Like, some of the ways that he'll process the vocals and things, like, have that same kind of feeling to them without while you are also able to understand them. And that's the tightrope act that this album had to walk, and we knew that it would be kind of dealing with that. And now we see that he's done it pretty damn successfully, pretty much perfectly.
Yeah.
He did the damn thing.
I have some opinions. Like, well, first there is a dumb thing that I would like to share about this. Like, the Genius page on Beach Life and Death, the lyric about get eaten by the one you love, the annotation about that says they're trying to say, it's about four, and the top comment on it is, yeah, I don't have anything better. I just don't want it to be this.
It definitely isn't about that.
Yeah, but like, to the point.
Yes. To the point.
To the point. I think I'm unique among, like, I'm going to go as far as to say members of the podcast, and that I think I'm the only person who hasn't listened to the originals, so I was coming into this completely fresh. So my opinions are probably weird. My favorite songs are My Boy and Cute Thing and Sober to Death, and I really love Stop Smoking for whatever reason, and I really don't like Nervous Young and Humans that much, but overall, I really, really enjoyed this. I can see why it had all the hype it did. It's... Will Toledo can... I don't want to say he can do no wrong, because, like, that's putting people on pedestals, and I've been told not to do that, but he is just so incredibly good. He does. It makes me upset that he and I are within a few years of each other. It makes me upset, dude. Like, he's just too good at this. And it makes me upset, but this is a great album, even though he is pretty much copying off of his homework and turning it back in for a better grade.
True, man, true. But hey, again, you know, if it ain't broke, well, if it ain't
don't
broke,
fix it.
Yeah, but that's the weird thing.
That's
the weird thing with this album is that the original Twin Fantasy
in certain ways.
Yeah, just, you know, I don't know. This is good. It's good shit. All right, it's good shit. Will Toledo, we love you. Anyone who thinks that the intro to Bias is like bad or weird, you're wrong.
Log off
and shut up.
Log off. It's good. It's so cool the way that it kind of it goes from that synthesizer kind of thing into the beat and then into the whole song and the way it builds up. I love the opening of Bodies and all of the Bodies. That's probably my favorite. I also, in terms of like significant additions, significant changes, all of the new, I mean, so now the new Famous Prophets Stars has the kind of the added addition, the addition of that instrumental part that comes from another Car Seat Headrest song. I forget which one it is. It's like one of his like earlier songs, but it's basically he adds a lot more instrumentation to it, a lot more some more interpolations, and most importantly, it adds that piano part that is so good. I love the piano part toward the end of Famous Prophet Stars. It's just really nice and is a nice change of pace for that song, because that song goes on for so long. Like, you need to kind of he switches it up enough with the instrumentation that it keeps engaging you with it.
It keeps it interesting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, exactly.
You know, the
Will is really good at these really long songs. Like, they're the two on this one, like Costa Concordia and Teens of Denial. what was it called? The ending of Dramamine. That's it. The ending of Dramamine. That's it. Like those are all really long songs. I think they all stretch over 10 minutes, and they're never boring. Like compare and contrast with Father John Misty from last year. They 9 minutes of a song feel like fucking 20. Like Will Toledo knows how to make long songs that aren't that justify their time. They're always interesting. That don't bore me to tears. That is commendable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like comparing Will Toledo to Father John Misty is like comparing an apple to shit. This sound is dog shit. Why would you do that?
Oh boy.
Because we're dunking on Father John Misty tonight. Britt, get with the program.
All right, I want to say
always a mood.
I wanted to say, I was trying to say this before Zach was talking. You know the meme of the guy, you know, he's got the finger on his head. He looks like Eddie Murphy in the 80s.
Kind of, yeah.
It's like, you know, again, don't have to go through sample clearance if I sample my own songs. That's Will Toledo.
Genius. I also, even though I agree that the Sober to Death remake doesn't quite capture the same
it's still good,
sort
though.
of stuff, good. It's so good, and I love the production on the outro part of it. Like I love the way that those two different guitar parts just like just crash back and forth into each other in that way that just it starts out so like discordant and weird. You know, wait, what's going on here? And slowly as the two parts kind of duel back and forth, and as he repeats that kind of refrain, it just works into this kind of thing that works by the end of it, and it's it's a great end to that song that I like a lot. Yeah, this album fucking rules. It's so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I've said all I wanted to say about this new Twin Fantasy. It's good as hell.
There wasn't enough love of Beach Life and Death in this podcast, but
we've talked about it before. Right. We talked about it in previous podcasts, so I didn't want to repeat ourselves. But yeah, the new Beach Life and Death, it fucking owns. Okay, it fucking owns.
It didn't click. Yeah, it didn't click for me until I listened to it on the album, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. This is good. Soundtrack for my entire London trip.
I also really, really like the some of the additions to Cute Thing, especially the way that the guitars drop out on the do 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 do. It is just like that's so fun. Like there are moments in this album where like the original Twin Fantasy is like so cathartic, but there are some really like dancey, fun moments on that original one that don't really like blossom the way that they do on this one because just the production is a little more lo-fi, and so in the original one your focus goes more toward things like Sober to Death and things like Beach Life and Death and things that suit that kind of style. But on this one, there's moments in this album like on the most like propulsive moments of like bodies and Cute Thing. It's like this is like some like Strokes level of band that is really like could be huge. You know what I mean? Like that kind of. I mean, Matt, you talked about that a lot with like the War If You Want It and like the single edit, like the idea of like the larger sense of triumph and the larger sense of like grandness to the music that really hits in some of the bigger like singles on this album with like Bodies and Cute Thing and stuff like that. And I really dig that shit. They're both good. Mirror to Mirror and Face to Face are both good. Buy both of them.
Yes. So, yeah.
I would just like to give another quick shout out to my boy, parentheses, Twin Fantasy opener of the year so far. That shit blew me away the first time I heard it. Like, the third chorus where he's just fucking screaming it, that's amazing. Like, bottle that shit. Sell it. Like, it will power the nation.
Will Toledo yells are the renewable energy source.
Oh, God.
Monsters, Inc. Everything's the same, but it's powered off of Will Toledo screams instead of kidding screams.
Just put Will Toledo in a room and just have him yell until you power the nation.
My God! All right, okay, we gotta wrap up this podcast. We gotta wrap this. We gotta wrap this up.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this podcast. We'll be back with more content on the way. Actually, I didn't say this during the podcast, but I really want to make a video about how much I enjoy High to Death. I really want to talk about that a bit more in depth. And so, hey, if you liked that FYC video I did like 2 years ago, it's hopefully something like it is on the way. But no confirmation. but I'd like to do it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy this podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. Make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube. Tell your mom, tell your friends about us, and keep showing us love. And I think we already hit 1.1k subscribers on YouTube a while ago, but thank you again for that. Like, goddamn. Thank you for the response to the Andrew Katz episode. That's been insane to see because it almost got ruined because we had to cut something from the podcast because Will. Full disclosure, this is towards the end of the podcast, so only the diehards are listening at this point. Will Toledo slid in the podcast DMs and was like, "Hey, great interview, but can you cut this part because we might get in trouble with the label?" And it's like, okay.
Yeah, and Andrew was really wild and like he just
Andrew
like
was
clearly someone who generally part of the reason why no one puts a mic in front of Andrew's face is because he will just say exactly what he is thinking. He does not care.
Yeah,
and that can be problematic for people like Will Toledo who want to be signed to a record label and make money.
Yeah,
like,
and here's the thing. We thought
that's what's good about Andrew. It works so well.
We thought that Jeremiah was chaotic evil, and yeah, we were wrong. But yeah, seriously, again, thank you for your response to Andrew Katz. Hopefully, we have some new listeners from that. Hopefully, you're listening now and enjoying this podcast. And yeah, more content on the way. Ba-boom.
Woo!
All right, so we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.